Yeah, that's it.
Outstanding. I already read you the title, so this is it. So don't think, oh, she's not going to show me anything new. But like I said, Facebook actually wants you to go through the steps just in case something on their end is changed or something on your end. So this is me. You are a member of APCUG, so you can request any of the gazillion presentations we have. And some of us are available, and the two other requests weren't available. And I started the Speakers Bureau way back in the day when Don Singleton and I said, yeah, I said, Don, the question about what do you need from APCUG, the surveys I sent out, and they said programs. So we brainstormed and we said, Speakers Bureau, let's see if we can get some people that will be willing to give presentations. And I still have about 4 people who started way back in the day giving presentations, and it has expanded wonderfully. And this is for groups who are tired of having the same member give presentations, or that member says, oh my gosh, you mean I have to come up with something new? So, got a lot to choose from. So, we're older adults. Take a look at that. And YouTube. That's interesting. I don't really consider YouTube a social media platform, but that's 50 to 64. That's what they think. Those of us who are older than that, Facebook is just a skosh more used than YouTube. And so choose your poison and see what you like to use and see if you go along with the graph. Most people probably don't, but these people out there make graphs for us to use in presentations. So as you can see with the math, why in the world do you want to use Facebook? I have people every once in a while say that to me, not interested. Well, as you can see, this was during COVID. And in our town, the people who had the ice rink and my daughter on my right-hand side, she had brought the LA Kings high school football, I'm sorry, hockey league to our area. We had this nice, well, it really wasn't that nice rink. And the guy decided he wanted to sell it. And the closest one is like 25 or 30 miles away. And she thought, not going to happen. And of course, she couldn't go anyplace in person. So she had to use Zoom. And she said, what do I do, Mom? And I said, well, ask the Kings if they want to buy the rink. And they were $1 million short. And now what? And I said, get all your families, line them up, have them go to an online Zoom city council meeting and get a comment card and say something different about why you would really like the city to buy the rink and keep the hockey league going. And they had they taught hockey and all this good kind of stuff. And so she did that. They did it at the next meeting because how you get things done in my area is you bring it out into the world where everybody can see it. And then the city council doesn't automatically go, not interested. So they bought it. And let me tell you, they are making a fortune with it, with all the activities had. And again, this was all going on during COVID. Every time they made a change or whatever, they got in touch with my daughter and said, this is what we're planning. Will that work for you guys? Blah, 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 blah. And at the time, the hockey club was affiliated with Jack, tall kid on her left, where he went to school. And she wanted him to be able to letter in some sport. And he played hockey, so it worked out well. And COVID was just about finished and they had a grand opening and the kids had all gone back to school. And like I said, it's extremely successful. If there had not been something like Facebook where they could get together as a group and chat and all this good kind of stuff, that probably would not have happened. So in our family, this is way cool. And with Grammy, it's the way Grammy finds out what in the world her kids and her grandkids are doing. So what do you need to do? Create an email address. Oh, look at that. Create an email address just for your Facebook account. Don't commingle it with your family one, your personal one, the one that you use to subscribe to various and sundry things, and just keep it all by itself. And if you have not done that, you can always change, your personal email address in Facebook. So you have to decide, ladies, you want to use your maiden name? This gal's name is Judy Brown. She used to be Judy Smith. So what do you want to be? Well, I'm telling people are looking for the last name that they went to high school with. Quite often, that's how they track people down. And you know the drill. Create a very strong password. And above all, don't use a third-party website to sign into your Facebook account. Google will pop up and say, use Google, use Apple, whatever, your credentials. Don't mix them up. Facebook is Facebook is Facebook. Because if you say, I'm going to sign in with my Google account, you've just given Google permission to look at everything, all your data, and they know enough about us, so we don't need to give them any more access. And minimum of 12. The January FTC presentation on security we had, it's up like they really prefer that you use 16. And I thought to myself, I remember when 8 was okay, but they would rather you use 16 various letters, symbols, etc. And you know this, don't use if it's a 0, don't use a capital O, and vice versa. And people go, I'll just use $2 for 2 S's. Oh, everybody in the whole free world knows about that. And make sure it isn't a dictionary word or a combination of dictionary words, which means it's got to be gibberish. They have password guessing tools out there, and the hackers can get hundreds of thousands of words per minute and compare them with what they think yours is by just trying to match it. So anything close to a dictionary word, and I'm sure a ton of us use those, it's not secure. So every year, the same passwords are on the worst 25, the worst 100. You got to make sure that that's not yours. So this password that I put together, it would take a computer about 3 quadrillion years to figure out what it is. And I thought, way cool. What is it? I always use a symbol, the beginning, the end, whatever. And the first one is Noble. And the second one is the other dog that lives at that kid's house. And then there's the first initial of the cat, and so on. And it takes us through 2 daughters and 1 mom. And I just chose a number sign and 26. And mine is M squared. That's, Mr. Meeps, that just wouldn't have named him that, but he arrived with Moxie Girl at my house. And 26, I like even numbers. That's the only telltale thing. But that's easy. People go, good Lord, what have you done? That works for me. I have a friend who hardly knows anything about computers. I help her and work on it and everything. And she does the first initial of a gazillion nursery rhymes. That woman has nursery rhymes in her head. I cannot believe it, like she does. And that works wonderfully for her. The only problem is when I was working on her computer and I need to go into Word. And I looked at, oh my, there was a file called, you guessed it, passwords. And I thought, oh, Carolyn, you do such a good job. But I said, the first thing when you get your computer back, I said, you really need to rename your password file and stick it someplace else. These are password managers that people use and say, I just love these. I used to have LastPass up here, and all of a sudden they got hacked, and some of their clients or customers' information was stolen because they did not have a, don't steal this proof password for their file. So I hope you guys talk about who uses what password, why they like it, why it works for them, how easy it is, and so on. And if you think, or just for grin, someday you're sitting around, the weather's crummy, or you don't have anything to do, go to that website on the bottom, Have I Been Pawned? And put in your email accounts and see if somewhere, somehow, that email address has been breached. And it's been around since 2013. The guy was a Microsoft MVP and felt that there needed to be something out there like this that people could check. And when he started it, oh my, there were 38 million Adobe users who had lost their password because they had been hacked. And everybody went, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding. I was chair of the Southwest Technology User Group Conference down in San Diego, even though I live 35 miles northwest of LA. Uh, and I didn't find out about it until I got home. I haven't used Adobe since because they'd been hacked in the spring, and our conference was in the summer. And before I could change everything, they'd gotten hacked again. And I thought, I have to worry about Microsoft. I do not want to worry about Adobe. But you look at 38 million, there are so many gazillion million passwords and phone numbers and so on hacked these days. So just for fun, go there and check out all of your passwords. And here's talking about him. He now works with the FBI. He's on an FBI team that is worried about this. So here was one in 2019. My oldest daughter always had a 4th of July party. This time they sent you an email and you sent it back and said, yeah, I can come or not. Her husband decided to use Evite. Darned if just using that one time did my information get hacked. And I thought, what a hoot. Don't ever do that again. But I don't give them anything. So the only thing they got for me was my email address. And when you get hacked, you really don't get hacked. These are from 2021. This has never happened to me again, but he was the president of a local group in SoCal. And a car dealership in the Midwest, they were hacked. And for some reason, he had been looking for a part or something, and his email address was hacked from that. And I traced it down and I called him on the phone and said, hi there, could I speak to your manager? And so I told him who I was and where I was calling from. And he said, I really appreciate you taking the time to call us. We knew something was wrong. They'd been hacked, but they didn't know their passwords from a hole in the wall or anything about stuff like this. So I gave him a little overview and I told him I'd received all these things. There's at least 2 there from 23andMe. And so he said, I'm going to get somebody, from a company to come in and look at everything. And he said only one employee had said something, but nobody really knew what he was talking about. This was back in 21. And again, during COVID. But again, so I took the time and then I called 23andMe and said, "Hi, could I speak to a IT person?" And they put me through, and that kind of floored me because they usually don't do that. And I talked to him about that. Then somebody had hacked his stuff. He said, "Yeah, that happens every once in a while, and there's nothing to be done about it." And I thought, oh, wrong answer for me. My brother was a lifetime homicide detective, and I always say I put my brother's detective hat on and off I go. But it was interesting, tracking it down. The guy lived in Pasadena. Nobody had gotten to his computer. And most people think, oh my gosh, somebody's hacked my computer. Now, they probably hacked someplace where you have, put your information in and then they figured out your password. So these are all the things they want if you want a Facebook account. Don't feel compelled to put them all in. Some you have to. You don't have to put your picture in there, either a circle or a rectangle. If you're retired, you know, are you going to put every place that you used to work? Only if you're looking for people who you used to work with. And they might use that as, Judy Brown worked at the XYZ company. Oh, look, she has a Facebook page. Does anybody really care where you went to high school? Do they care? College, unless you are trying to find people from college. And but like in high school, you went to your 50th reunion or whatever. You need to check out the webpage from the reunion and see what they put in about you. Maybe they're not tech savvy and they have put in your address where you live. And you're going to go, no, 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 not really. Current city, your hometown. Again, you don't need to put all this stuff in. You can choose how private you want to be. They would like you to put in all of the information in your contact list. And you're going, I don't think so. Absolutely not. So you pick and choose. And if you have filled out everything because you felt you were compelled to do that, you can go back in and get rid of things. Down at this conference in San Diego one year, we had a gal that was giving a presentation, something like this, and audience member Q&A raised her hand and she said, I put my entire date of birth. And we all went, oh, really? And so, that's not something most people want to do. They could put February 2nd, and you don't need to put 1935 or whatever. And so after the presentation was over with, the presenter came down into the audience area before we left and said, tapped her on the shoulder. And she said, do you want to go down to Judy's office and you can log into your Facebook account and I'll show you where you can take the year off. And she was so excited and so grateful for that. So those are the kinds of things you have to watch out for. And there's a whole litany of things you need to set up and check. So here's your settings and privacy. And you just click on your picture, your name, and you get into this. And the language, that's a no-brainer. There's, all of the languages are there. I only speak English. I can, speak and read a little bit of my 1957 high school Spanish, but not much. There's a privacy checkup you need to do, the privacy center, and so on. But here's the privacy checkup. Who can see what you share? What did you choose in the first place? How can people find you on Facebook? Again, you set all this up. How to keep your account secure. You don't want anybody being able to come in and get information. Your ad preferences. I do not get ads on my Facebook page, period. I am locked down in the ad area. And when I was first on, if an ad came up, I went into it and said, I don't want to see this again. Common privacy, these are the things that you can share. you can customize, make sure it is what you want. There's your login preferences and recovery methods. This is a thing that you should check up every once in a while. But again, these are the things that you can set up in settings. You can block profiles from seeing what you share or contacting you. Make sure what you share, make it more private. You don't do that here, but this is where you check up. You've got this set up 6 months down the road because you've marked it on your calendar. You decide, I'm going to check my privacy settings just to make sure. And you're going to go through this and click on it and check. And manage your passwords, review security issues, manage your end-to-end encrypted chat settings, and so on. There's your ads. Review and adjust settings for the advertisers you're seeing. Don't ever want to see them again. Not in the market for a new car, not in the market for whatever. And they're just annoying, and you have to take the time to get rid of them, so to speak. If you interact with them, then you're going to get more. You can export your information and so on. The Help Center, that's account status, your support inbox, and you can actually report a problem to Facebook. I did one time about something that was suspicious. They profusely thanked me in an email, said, we really appreciate you doing that. We collect this kind of information, blah, 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 blah. Display and accessibility, just like your computer, you can change it to dark mode. You can make the font size smaller so more content can fit on the screen. I have that off. I wear computer glasses. I'm happy with any selection I have. And there you can give them feedback. And they tell you exactly what to send them. And then down at the bottom, if you don't, you think, oh Lord, I just have to click on the X to log out. Well, you can go in here, and I love it. There's a whole screen in the middle. It says log out, and you click on that and you log out. And don't forget to always log out of your account. And you have to create your post. Do you want everybody in the whole free world to be able to read your posts, whether you know them or not? Then you're going to make it public. If you want to restrict it, your friends. Or the person that you're really on the outs with, my friends accept this person. Or you have a group that does something. Those are your specific friends. They get emails that only, to them. Or do you just want to send it to yourself? What can I tell you? But you need to decide. There's your custom list down at the bottom for my close friends. That could just be your family, something like this. And you can post, again, 3 dots says, psst, there's more. And you can add photos and videos. You can tag friends. But before you tag friends in a picture, make sure you ask them if it's okay. Because if they have an account, if you have them tagged, you can go from your account to their account. Okay, so again, these are things you can add. Your little heart's content. Off you go. And you add them, click on it, and boom, it's attached. You can also set it up that when you get something new into your account, at your email address, you get notified. I don't do this anymore. It drove me crazy. Especially Facebook let Rich know. He'd been dead for 1,000 years. He had no relatives left. And I get a reminder on his birthday every January. And I wish somebody somewhere could figure out how to close his account. And then Joseph commented on, I take care of APCUG's Facebook account as well as a local community one. And he commented on it. I joined a group that let me know that, hey, they approved you. Huey, most of us know Huey out in Florida. He tagged me in a picture. And then West Branch, that's where my three oldest grandkids went to high school, and my daughter and her husband teach. And middle kid played baseball, and they wanted to know if I wanted to, belong to their channel. I said no. Uh, my son-in-law and my daughter, they have a travel page. They take the kids, high school kids, somewhere in Europe every spring break. And when they're gone, that's the only time his page is active, is he posts all the pictures, he and the parent chaperones take. And the baseball kid went on to Cal State Northridge, and he wanted to know if I wanted to be on his pickup baseball post. And I said yes on that one. And then I was interested in attending a local meeting, and there's my event invitation. So if you don't go into your Facebook account often, this reminds you what is in there that's new and waiting for you. And here you can join a group, you can join a church group, you can join a community group, a block group of where you live, of just the people where on your, close by in your tract, all kinds of things out there. And again, it tells you the buy and sell one. I've got 4 friends off my friend list who are members. 3 are involved with the emergency 411, and 2 are the local high school down at the bottom of the hill where my 3 kids went to school. So that lets you know you do have people that that are involved in these groups, but then you get them up and there is nobody. You have no friends or members. Facebook sends you a lot of stuff like this. They think you want to do this, that, and the other thing, and you have to be vigilant and don't just automatically join. I have one friend, she says, oh, I get those, I join all of them. And I thought the height of being silly, because you don't know if you've got friends there, you can check them out, give them a call, send them an email. But if you don't have any friends that are members, you really don't know what you're getting into. But if you have a hobby and there is not one friend, not an acquaintance, absolutely nobody that has your same hobby, you can create a group. And usually, even out in the world, in addition to the US and things like this, people will join your group because they want to be able to talk or show and tell on what they do with their hobby that they don't have anybody to share with locally, and their kids are darn tired of hearing you talk about it. You get notifications, and this tells me those are all from the APCUG account that 12 note views, so on, 3 new. And you can quickly go through those, and then they all, say they go down below. And you can confirm all of them, and you don't even have to read them. But down at the bottom, it's one from one of my kids reacted to my comment, happy birthday, Grammy, to one of the grandkids. Huey Poplock posted an update that let me know if I hadn't opened it yet, I should go and look at it. And Leslie, she is a friend request. And this is the second friend request I've gotten over the years. Well, she's one of my original friends from back in the day. And so I can either confirm her as a friend or I can delete her. And I'm going to delete her because there's scammers out there and they copy everything that they can find from some real Facebook account. They copied her photo, all of her information. They got into her friends list. Obviously, her password sucked big time. And then they send a friend request to everybody. And we trust our friends. Well, you know, I know Leslie doesn't know that much about technology. And so the first time I got the record request, of course, it was a yes. And the second time I thought, no, 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 no. Leslie's already one of my friends. But I checked just to be sure. And yep, there she was. And yesterday, up popped Leslie again with a friend request. And I'm going to myself, oh, give me a break here. And I went down and there she was. So check out all friend requests just to make sure that it is actually somebody you want to share with and you want to share their information with you. They don't know that you deleted the request. They just kind of go away. And 9 times out of 10, you have no clue who they are because Facebook sends out requests to you. You get them all in a line. And I just go through delete, 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 because I don't know who they are. I really dislike that Facebook does that. That's kind of the way you get ads if you don't have them turned off. And they just think you might want to be this person's friend. No, not really. And this one I got from Steve. Sent me a friend request that I haven't responded to. That came into my email. I don't have a clue who Steve is. This is really silly. And here we have, I can add that bear, the dog with the leprechaun hat, and so on. And there, I blanked out all their names, but there's names all along there. I had absolutely no clue who they are. And the same thing happened with Marcy. She's come up more than once. Oh, she's only come up twice. And I deleted her because she's already a friend. So here's some tips. This dates back to 2019. Personal data from over 300 million Facebook accounts were stolen. They were sold in the dark web between the malicious bad actors. Oh my gosh, in 2019, that was considered one of the worst data breaches of all time. You compare that to the data breaches that happen now, and this is jump change. And in 2021, all of those 2019, all that data was released on the dark web, and it went down a level on a low level hacking forum. Over 500 breaches that had come up to now. And the yous and me's of the world who don't theoretically know anything about the dark web, apparently we would have easy access to anyone with basic knowledge. And I think we all have more than that. Well, I didn't include, did you include your phone number? And the phone numbers from where that was stolen provided the way into the accounts and your profile. Well, I don't have my mobile phone number anyplace. So, one thing, Judy, this doesn't pertain to you. And what was stolen though? Your full name, your phone numbers, your Facebook ID, your location, your birth date, your bio. And I'm patting myself on the back for being, not having that information in there. But just for grins, I checked to make sure that now it's up to 533 million Facebook users. Phone numbers and personal data have been leaked online. It says, please check out to make sure that your US-based phone number isn't there. Just for grins, I put it in there. I clicked on check. And it said, it's not in the data. I knew it wasn't going to be, but I figured I'd go all the way through so I'd have some slides, pictures from my presentation. But this is how your stuff gets out there. They don't really come into your inbox per se. They pick up your information from someplace else. This was Facebook from their database. So you get lots of surveys, lots of quizzes. So you got the best friend in the whole world, and they send you a survey or a quiz. Go, oh, isn't that nice? Delete. Don't participate. Bad actors use what you put in there to find, they'll say, find the M in a gazillion W's and you are a genius. And put here that you've done this. Well, do it. And you get it in 2 seconds and you go, ha, pat yourself on the back and say, I really am a genius. Delete. Don't participate. They can hack your account or steal your ID using information from your Facebook account. You have just given them an entree into that if you answer, yes, I got it, or whatever. And it might take you to a website with dangerous downloads. You don't know that's happening. You might accidentally install, well, accidentally on your part, not on theirs, malicious browser extensions, harmful links, the ever popular malware. So we're going to answer that we found that in 1 second and we figure we are a genius. The operative word is delete. Just look. Hey, I was asked, I'm part of a small group. Oh my gosh, somebody wants my opinion. Could you please take a few minutes to answer a short survey? Start survey. Why in the world would I do that if it doesn't say who the short survey is from? Many people do. I will get things like this forward to me from people in APCUG that I know they know better than this. And you can't reach the page, check to see if there's a typo in the thing. If the spelling is correct, and they really want you to participate. But this was a biggie back in the day. Find out your royal name. Well, I really could care less. But, I knew back in the day, my dad's family had a castle over in Europe. So that's fine. My mother's relatives all had a town that was named after them. That's fine. That's true scoop because that's been told to me by those particular relatives. Everything's gone now. But look at that. Are you a male or female? What's your pet's name? Many people, even though we say do not include your pet's name in anything, they have it in there. What's the last thing you ate? And the last place you shopped? You've and Orf Beach and 18,000 others. Orf Beach has been using computers for probably close to 50 years. He's a Linux guru. He used to be a Linux administrator at a medical company in SoCal. He knows better than this, but there he did. So, games. You like to play games. You really think it's fun. You can do a lot of that on Facebook. But remember, the information you put in, you have no clue where it is actually going. And the bad actors, they're all the bullet points. So I turned off games. I had the gal that was the president of the Simi Valley Computer Club way back in the day, and that's one valley south and east of me. And she kept sending me these games. She wanted me to join her. And I told her, don't send those to me anymore. I don't play games. And I don't play games and I don't do puzzles. And so I finally I just had to no to games. She didn't pay any attention. So I just turned the games to off. Other people that love to play games, just remember, there's no telling where your information is. And fact versus fiction, false information absolutely thrives on Facebook. News stories, web pages, wild claims, hoaxes that, in your gut, they just don't feel right. Pay attention to your gut. Someone posts the latest piece of misinformation seconds later, you share it with all your friends, they share it with their friends, they share it because they trust you. Oh yeah, you belong to the clickers. You know all about technology. You wouldn't send this on if you hadn't checked it out to make sure it's correct. Well, you don't do that. and it's called going viral. And all of a sudden, that post is whipped around the world full of false information. Have it stop with you. Just because someone says something doesn't make it true, no matter if they're your relatives or, like I said, your best friend. All of the bullet points out there are alive and well on social media, and Facebook's one of the biggies. And you just need to use your common sense or your gut, one or the other. So check it out before you share it. Go to the original site. Go to factcheck.org. Go to Snopes or Snoops, however you want to say that. And it will tell you that's been around since 1943. It comes out every few years and it's false. They just update the same lies and send it around. They keep track. And a couple of articles I read when I was updating this today said both of those places are good places to look. And whatever you do, don't engage with it because Facebook has all these algorithms that are checking up on you with puzzles and games and things like this. You click on them, you click on ads, they're going to send more to you. So if you click on something that is really out of there, you're going to get more posts like that. They'll find them out there. They will be from people you don't know. So only follow reputable news outlets or get your news someplace else. So is it safe? Well, like any website, any email, whole nine yards, we are told do not click on any links that you don't know what they are because you have the capability that you can get malware, spam, phishing, ID theft, and robbery. And for heaven's sakes, don't say anything. We're going out to dinner tonight at fill in the blank. Or we're taking a weekend trip. Post your pictures when you return home. When the kids go out they're going to Italy in 2026. And, they post when they get back and the pictures come through. Now that doesn't, prevent the parents or the kids from posting, but from the official trip account, they have pictures for each day and they start posting them when, they're on their way back, flying back. And the thing with my kids, they have an older son who's at home, so somebody figures out they're gone, then he's there and two dogs. So they collect data even if you are not on Facebook. Apps, websites that you like, other services send Facebook information about what you're doing on the internet. You've been out there, you've searched for something, and then all of a sudden you get an ad in your email and you go, really? Okay, fine. Or if you don't have ads turned off, you will get an ad or two or three or four to whatever you were searching for. So, you want to make sure you set up your privacy shortcuts. Exactly. You don't want that to happen. Then turn it off. And such as visiting their apps or websites. I got involved with in my email a couple of MDs in the local area. I only went to their website. I did not click on anything. They picked up my personal email address that I was using, and I could not unsubscribe. I was getting 2 emails at least every single week. And they had really interesting information, but I wasn't interested, hadn't clicked on anything. I didn't even go to the next page. I only looked at the home page. And it was driving me bananas. And then I would go into my spam history and I would delete it forever, which theoretically unsubscribes. And they went out via, what is it, Constant Connect, something like that. So I got in touch with them because they're the ones because it's a law, United States law, that you always have to have a button for unsubscribe. If people can subscribe to something on your website, and if they unsubscribe, you have to immediately unsubscribe them. I hadn't subscribed, but I couldn't get rid of them. So I got in touch with the email forwarding that says right down there in their footer, just like my MailChimp emails that you guys receive with my Wednesday workshops and stuff like that. And I got a nice email back from, Constant Connect, whatever. And they said, thank you for letting us know that is against our policies, blah, 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 blah. We'll check into it. And we have unsubscribed you from here. And I thought, well, it's all well and good that you did that, but I should have been able to unsubscribe myself. And I'm going to give them a week to check it out. And if I don't hear anything back by then, I'm going to, in my mind, I'm going to call it a closed case, so to speak. Facebook says, hey, by the way, we use your location data if you're using us on your phone. And that's for advertising. You're driving down the street and you drive by this used car lot. Next thing you know, you've got an ad about, do you want to buy this used car? How in the world did that happen? Facebook is using your location data. You don't want that to happen? Turn it off on your iPhone or your Android phone. Turn on or turn off. I have it off. Use 2FA, verifies your identity, extra step. People don't like that extra step, but it helps. Use a passkey. That's even better. And many people think you actually have to have a key, like your house key. But no, it's just more clicks and things like this. Use your face recognition to get in to your account so you don't have a password that can be absconded with. And again, there's things that you can set up when you're checking your account or setting it up, but Facebook will say, do this. Do you want people to find you from Edge or Chrome? Or would you rather just be on Facebook and not have anybody from I use Edge. Most people use Chrome. If you use Chrome, that's probably going to be the way people can find you. But if they search for you on a different browser, you're not going to show up. So you want to decide how many people out there from wherever you will take a look at what you've got on your Facebook page. Because remember, in order to get from you directly, you're going to have to approve them or not. Here's ads. I don't get ads. These are 3 ads that my daughter, who works for UCLA, her HRIT team is responsible for their employee database. And I said, you got to be kidding. Why don't you turn your ads off? I said, isn't this a waste of time? Either just whipping by them or whatever. And it doesn't bother me, mother. Okay, fine. But I find this the height of ridiculousness, unless you're interested in CBS This Morning on what happens, or etc. But again, customize it or say, I don't want any. You can say, what kind of ads would I like? Employers, job titles, education, so on. This is a program that collects data, and I do not want to be involved with that. They say, why are you, I asked, hello there, why are you included in this advertiser's audience? They uploaded or use a list to reach you. I have no clue where they got that list from. On the left, I have never been to any of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So they picked me up someplace else. And again, not shown alongside ads about social issues. Do you want that to be only, to your friends to see these? I said, no, absolutely not. Only me. But again, you have to set up your criteria. So I've hidden all of these people on the left. I have my own insurance. We have no Buffalo markets where I live. I don't, I had a Nissan. I'd never have another one. I don't eat Hormel chili. I'm not interested in going to a immersive Van Gogh exhibit in Los Angeles. And good God, I am not looking for a job. So these are the ones that Facebook thought I might be interested in. Nope. So I wanted all posts hidden. So install an ad blocking extension if you don't have one. Chrome is partial to AdBlock Plus. Again, this is something to discuss within your club. Who uses ad blocking extensions? How do they work? Are they easy to set up? Do they interfere with anything, etc.? Firefox has their own. Opera, Vivaldi, DuckDuckGo has a new one. And Brave blocks all ads by default. And I'm finding a lot of people are using Brave these days. Again, if you haven't seen Opera, Vivaldi, DuckDuckGo, or Brave, how about a meeting where somebody who uses each one of them gives you a short overview of what they are? There's a lot of stuff out there. In addition to Edge and Chrome, Avast has one. It's Chrome. And Firefox, I've never been able to use Firefox. It locks up every computer I've had. We don't know why. But again, you can customize all this stuff. So think before you click or tap. Think before you post something. Don't accept every friend request. Feel free to decline, even if you know the person, but they're of the wrong political persuasion or whatever. Unfriend people whose posts you don't like. They never know you do that. They think life goes on. Keep your contacts private. If somebody gets into your account, they can't get to them. Don't ever, 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 ever download anything that you find on Facebook. I say don't play games. And go ahead and find that M in all the W's, pat yourself on the back and delete. And above all, trust your instincts or your gut, one or the other. And the golden rule of sharing online. When posting to social media, following the online golden rule. Post only about others as you would have them post about you. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. As a wise friend once said, don't post anything on social media you wouldn't hang on your front door for everyone to see. And that was our friend from back in the day, Abby Stokes, who used to tour the country and give presentations and then by Zoom. And she wrote one of the best how-tos for seniors. She got literally tired of her mother getting in touch and saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? And so she wrote a book for her. And it was easy to read, and it had everything that we needed to get started with computers, social media, etc. So what does Facebook do with what they know about us? Well, we say they can share our age, gender, education. If we don't do it, display third-party ads. Again, the games, groups, add someone as a friend. Soon as we do that, of course, they know. And read Facebook's privacy policy. Back in the day, the EULAs, I went to school and graduated with a Eula Herman, which is really weird because she still doesn't know anything about computers. But anyway, we used to read the privacy policy end user license agreements because they were short. It'd probably take you a week to read some of these ones that are out now, and it'll all be legalese. And unless you worked in the legal department, you're not going to understand it. But what are you going to share? Please keep it short, to the point, casual. And just like email, all caps is considered yelling. Use good grammar and punctuation. Remember, everybody that knows you, is looking and reading about whatever you're saying. And if your grammar sucks and it doesn't have any punctuation, with no punctuation, it's difficult to read. But think about that. This is you that they're getting. You don't have to use all full sentences. Go ahead and use common abbreviations and acronyms, LOL, BTW. But if you are talking about something that is personal, like to the company where you worked or something like that, and they have an acronym, let your readers know this is what that acronym uses in the company. And it's not, one that everybody and their brother knows. And it's not a blog post. Again, keep it short and simple. And to be a member of any community, you have to actively participate. If you wait too long between posts, people will forget about you, or our age think we died. If you post too frequently, oh my goodness, here that gal is posting again. And you actually wear out your welcome. They just kind of shine it on and keep on reading. Facebook once a week, a few times a day. Take a look at posts you get from people that oh, good, here's something from Joe. He's always got something interesting to say, and you look forward to his posts. And if you get something from Alice and you go, oh, Lord, well, you don't want to post as many times as Alice does, but maybe if you've got interesting posts in once a week or even a few times a day. We had some young kid who I knew, and well, he was, graduated from college, but he was still a kid. And he posted, oh, Lord, until you wanted to go over to him and hit him behind the head. He was running for city council, and he would take a step here and a jump there, and we knew about it from morning to night. He wore out his welcome really quickly. And I would imagine, if he had people that were thinking of voting for him, they didn't because of that, which is really too sad. Okay. Don't post if you don't have anything to say. Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I always post on Wednesday. If you don't have anything to say, forget it. No personal information, period. No personal contact information. Okay, I'm going grocery shopping now. Oh, I'm back from grocery shopping. Guess what? There's a sale on rutabagas. Most people aren't interested in that. Don't post rumors, hoaxes, urban legends. Remember, you're going to check them out, even if your best friend sends you one. Don't forward it to anybody else or share it until you check it out. Don't post about people without asking their permission. That means tagging them or whatever. You have a brand new grandbaby. Ask those parents if it's okay if you post something about it and they want to be the one who does it. They are not ready to do it. No, we don't want the kid's picture up there. It's, 3 weeks old. So check it out before you get in trouble. And nothing sensitive. And this is, don't post other people's news. And this is difficult. Don't post strong political or religious opinions. I have one gal in Central California, and she's the opposite political party. And when it gets around to voting time, I just turn her off, so to speak. She doesn't know that I'm not reading her posts. And when the election is over, I turn her back on again, so to speak. And we're friends. She probably does the same thing. Well, I don't post anything political on mine, but she does. So do please comment, you got something from a friend, relative, and, really appreciate getting that information, let them know. It's polite. Maybe nobody else commented on it. And don't comment if you're gonna go, "Oh, me too." Yeah, okay, you bet. Don't waste your time, don't waste the person's time who's put it up there. Comment if you have knowledge or useful information to share, because you're sharing with her, you're sharing her post with all your contacts, and so on. Do support a friend. Sometimes a comment can be like a virtual hug. And if you can move it forward by providing additional information or viewpoint, post. But no me too. No, you bet. Or way to go. Okay. This was during COVID. There was so much bad news in our world in California. I needed this to cheer me up. I have no clue who forwarded this to me. I know nobody in the comments down there. And this was all, obviously taken before, COVID hit, but it just made you smile because the dog wanted to get up on that counter so bad and or see what in the world she was doing. And it brought a smile to your face. And you could put an emoji up there, and there's the dog jumping up with what, one, two, three hearts. So, do post photos or cartoons or whatever. If that's will bring a smile to your audience. I shared this. I thought this was way cool. Tiny home village for homeless people opens in North Hollywood. Where I live, they're always talking about doing something like this. North Hollywood did something, and I could have shared it to the public. Well, my stuff was shared to public, so that, or send it in a message, send it to a group. I could share to a page. I could share it to the news feed. My choice. I just shared it, said share, and my stuff goes out, public. I forward these or share them. We have these e-waste events, and in the computer club, I'm always letting them know, we're having an e-waste event. So I send this on its merry way. I send it to the Canyon Country Advisory Committee. That's my local committee I'm on. And then I sent it to everybody in my Facebook account. And, and then I also put it up on Nextdoor, because not everybody gets posts from the city. But this is important information to share. Hey, you guys that have all this junk in your garage, or don't call me to come pick up your computer and say, you always know when the new e-waste events are. Could you just keep this for me? And it's hard to say no, and you really want to. And so they get their own copy of this. And you're using it on your phone. Facebook says, hey, by the way, can I use your microphone for video chatting and text to speech? Well, do you really want to give Facebook control of your mic? If you do not forget to turn it off. Okay? You want to shoot video or chat with a friend? Switch the mic on again. Don't leave it on all the time. And remember, as you are driving down the street in your car, location, turn it off, or you're going to start getting ads from that business you just drove by. You don't want that to happen. And please, every single person, memorialize your settings with your legacy contact. I have a, what to do when I'm no longer here presentation. And please don't forget your executor. You need to have a digital executor, one who is familiar with all platforms and will go in and do this for you. Make sure that you want it memorialized or you want it shut down. And you want your digital executor to shut it down. That's what's going to happen to my account. And just like Rich's, I wish somebody could do that, for him. And I have another one that they don't know how to do this, or it wasn't even available. So please, if you have a Facebook account or any kind of social media account, make sure that you find this in your account setup and put the disposition of your account in your living trust or whatever. And I gave my presentation to a group in Pennsylvania. And at the end, this guy raised his hand and he says, "Oh my gosh, great presentation." And he said, "I was patting myself on the back because I've already done almost everything you talked about. And then I realized my executor knows absolutely nothing about technology. So he's going to have to find a digital executor who will just do his technology and then maybe have another one who's involved with all his physical stuff." And I have a teacher who is very computer illiterate, but like, her brother would say, she'll be sitting on the couch grading papers and she'll think, isn't there something I need to do for mom? That would be mom, who's no longer here. Whereas the other one is the UCLA database lady, and she's going to sit down and go boom, 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 and everything will be gone that needs to be gone. Passwords, key takeaways, longer, better. Remember, FTC would really like you to have 16 plus. 2FA, passkey, just for grins, check out Have I Been Pawned? No third-party websites with your Facebook credentials. That would be you signing into a different account and they'll say, "Would you like to use your Facebook account?" No, 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 no. Tagging a person, ask. I did that with the conference one time, and she was part of my brainstorming duo, she and her husband, teacher in Long Beach elementary school system, got in touch and said, "I'm not ready to be on Facebook yet. Would you take me down?" And I was so embarrassed. I thought, oh, what an idiot. And so the next year I had on there, with a checkbox, yes or no. You may include my picture on Facebook, which is the only social media site I used for the conference, and the website. So that way I knew before I did it whether I should or should not. And within that year, she was ready to be on Facebook. Okay. And I was JT and her name's Judy. She was TOJ. So remember, don't tag a person without saying, "Is it okay?" My kids would get in touch with me and say, "Can we tag you?" And I said, "Do I look okay? Is my hair combed or whatever?" All that stuff. And they don't do that anymore. And so it's potluck. But you might look like, you needed to wash your hair 3 weeks ago. And just say, "Don't tag me." And they can click on you and they don't, go to your Facebook page or whatever. No surveys, no quizzes. Don't look for that M. Don't put up false information. Check it out before you share it. Don't forget, Facebook collects info even if you're not on Facebook. And they send the information about you, what you are doing on the internet. Choose your audience for posts. Limit who sees your profile photos and posts. Again, maybe you just want to post everything and you're the only one that has access to it. I haven't figured that out, but maybe. Keep your location to yourself. Feel free to decline a friend request, even if you know them or you have no clue who they are. And remember, don't post anything that wouldn't hang on your front door for everybody who goes up and down your street to see. And that is it